Hello viewers. Well, now we're taking a look at Grip, a game I've followed for some time as it's been developed over the last couple of years. It's just a couple of courses they've been putting it together, and pretty soon they'll be releasing it across all formats and consoles. And here we see our first footage of the Xbox One X version in action. Now, I should point out that the final game will run at 60 frames per second. I'm assured they're going to get the frame rate there in the coming months, but they wanted to release some gameplay running on the format already. If you haven't seen the game, it's very sort of, well, I guess it's inspired by Roll Cage, which we've spoken about many times, and it sort of retains that feeling and that flair to it, but also great challenge as well, as you're seeing some of the different courses here in the race mode. Very intense race mode action, sort of tricky to sort of focus on where you're going at first. You really do need to learn the courses to sort of maximise your lap times and your skills. I will also point out here that I was running with default settings that were set up for us to record on the day, which is the default 100% sensitivity, which for me is way too sensitive. I would definitely urge the developers to drop that to somewhere near 80% or lower, even for the average gamer, because I'm sure for 100% it's great for the expert, but for the beginners it's very twitchy indeed moving around. But either way, if you haven't seen the game before, you can see the quality of the graphics, really detailed environments, great lighting, and I'm working my way around these tricky stages. I mean, some of these tracks are classed as easy or normal, and they are far from easy or normal. I find them all quite hard at the moment. Easy is normal, apart from one particular bowl track, and after that it all gets very tricky indeed. So it's not easy. It's going to take a bit of a hardcore old school gameplay. You can see here the menu screens, looking at different modes. Some of it was locked off for us, and you can use deathmatch and other areas we can't go into. Also, this carcore mode. This is quite interesting. Basically, I call it Super Monkey Ball mode, and there's lots of little challenges for you to learn how to use your vehicle, of which there are a range in the game. We're going to look at all of that when we have the final game later in the year, and we're going to blow the package wide open. And as you can see here, simple things can become not so simple, and that means lots of restarts. Kind of like a Trials HD, I guess, as well. I say Super Monkey Ball because of the nature of it, but it is kind of like Trials HD as well, in the sense that you need to just take your time, and there's that urgency of restarting when you get it wrong. There is that feeling of, I'm learning that now. It's like this one. This was like my third attempt, fourth attempt, whatever it was, I don't know. And I was just gradually learning how to speed for each ramp. If I need to boost or not boost or brake, and the angle, it's all tricky stuff. Getting to the last one here, and then we finish the round, and not managing at that time. I can see that that's going to take some practice, of which time was limited, so you won't see me getting many finishes on these, but they vary in difficulty. And again, at the time I was saying the twitchiness of the standard controls are just too high. I couldn't put the car anywhere where I wanted to. I say car, vehicle, whatever it's called. And yes, very tricky indeed. Again, you've got to learn all of these. But it's nice that they've got them in there. You know, you've got a range of different modes. We've not seen the one-player career mode, or whatever it's going to be, standard challenge mode. Developing your skills, developing through the different vehicles and situations, and learning how best to, what you're actually supposed to do in terms of car control to get yourself through these, you know, simple situations that aren't so simple, like that. It's just little humps and they just send you off. I mean, this particular track I couldn't figure out at all, because I would drive around the loop and then I would launch off the jump, and I just couldn't get near the next half pipe bit. I didn't know what to do. So very challenging, but lots of little modes in there, lots of things to keep you going. It has split screen mode, and of course all this footage is from the Xbox One X version. We're going to have a separate video looking at the PS4 Pro gameplay as well, and of course we're going to combine that a bit with everything with future previews. This is a game for me I'm passionate about, in the same way I was passionate about Redout in terms of indie developments. It's great to see indie developers taking ideas, taking risks, being creative, and producing something that's different to other things on the market. Really now for these guys it's about balancing out the difficulty and the challenge and the standard handling and gameplay, just to fine-tune those elements. And there is still work to do, as I say, reducing that sensitivity, not catering just for the 1%, sorry, the 0.5% of experts who might complete it, but for the other gamers that are out there that you know, want to enjoy it, that have some skill, but they're not best in the world in that sense. I think that's something which is important at this stage. The environments, as you can see, look stunning. Here we are on Mars. Why I just keep thinking of Total Recall. I do have an Arnie impression that goes through my head whenever I'd race on this stage, you know. But I was going to do it in the video, and then I thought, no, we'll save the Arnie impression for another day. I can assure you it's very good. But no, it's a lot of fun playing it, and but they do need to balance out the difficulty and the fine-tuning of the handling, and even some elements. I'd actually say some circuits could do with obstacles removed. Even it's that challenging at times. It's really, obviously it's always a tricky balance between what the experts want and what the average gamer is going to want, and that's going to be key. But either way, roll cage aficionados should enjoy it immensely. And so that's a look at the Xbox One X version. Lots we haven't shown you. As you can see, lots of modes, aspects to the game that are still locked away, still being developed. Don't have a release date for the game yet, but it's coming out in the final quarter of this year. My goodness, isn't it a crowded time for racing gamers? I mean, there's so much to look forward to, but so many different styles, and this game is so unique compared to other things on the market that it really doesn't have a competitor in that way this year. I'd say last year you had Red Out, and that was great, and this year's indie game is Grip. One I've looked forward to for a long time, and one I'll be showing more on the channel in the future. If you have any questions, do let me know. If there's aspects you'd like to see in the future, and in the meantime, that's it from me for now. And there'll be more Grip gameplay coming from me on the PS4 in the coming days, more E3 content coming up on the channel as well as feedback from the guys and reflection on what we've seen over the past week. And there'll be more from me very soon.